What's up, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to discuss what the Pittsburgh Steelers should do to have the perfect offseason. First, I'm going to start with free agency, then I'm going to go with the draft. Now, this year was a great year. You lose one of your best quarterbacks in the franchise history, Ben Roethlisberger. He's going to retire, had a great career, but thankfully, we're able to move on to the next chapter. Big Ben, this wasn't his best year. The last couple of years weren't his best years. You can tell it was time for him to, hang it up. But I'm excited to see who this Steelers team picks up. There's definitely some good options out there. But Najee Harris, your running back, he drafted in the first round, had a great year, 1,200 yards rushing, 400 yards receiving. Pat Fairmouth, tight end from Penn State, he had a good year this year. I think that's your tight end moving forward. He had a lot of touchdowns this year. And then Dante Johnson, 1,000-yard receiver. Definitely potential there, but Hands got to work on that. But definitely potential there. Defensive side, T.J. Watt, Defensive Player of the Year candidate, definitely probably going to get the nod. 22 sacks this year. Cam Hayward, one of your veteran pieces, he had 10 sacks this year. Highsmith, 2 had 7 sacks. I think this defense, like year after year with Mike Tomlin, has been great. Next year they'll be even better if they make some of these moves. Now, guys we should let go and some guys we should retain. Trey Turner, offensive lineman, left guard. Definitely bring him back. He was a bright spot in this offensive line that was terrible. You bring him back. Terrell Edmonds, I think at the safety position, you bring him back. Him and Micah have a lot of chemistry together, and I think they work together very well. You bring back Akilo Weatherspoon. He was a bright spot at the corner position. Keep him for the depth. And then Joe Hayden, not going to get much better than him at the corner position this year. I think he played very well the last 2 years. You bring him back. Now, to let go, Juju let go him. He wants to go to the Chiefs already. Let him go. I think the wide receiver class in this draft is deep enough. Free agency, you can get a guy in there because the Steelers have a lot of cap. You can let him go. And then Devin Bush, you can let him go. He's not a free agent, but cut him. Get $7.8 million back in cap space. He has not been what he's been his first year. Rookie year, he showed a lot of promise, but after he got injured the year before and this year, definitely you got to let him go. Now, some guys that I think the Steelers should look for in free agency is really anybody that plays offensive line. Trent Brown, 6'8", 359-pound tackle. I think what he's done with the Patriots, it's been one of the best tackles in the NFL. Him being a free agent this year, I think that's somebody you should take a look at. And then Brendan Sheriff from the Commanders, the Washington Commanders. It sounds weird, but him, one of the best guards in the NFL as well. As a free agent, you can throw some money to. And then on the defensive side, I think if the Bears don't re-sign Bilal Nichols, that's another guy you can add to this defense. There's a lot of guys who can just plug in this defense and make them that much better. I think Dante Howard for the Patriots, linebacker, solid linebacker, but Juwan Bentley, Jamie Collins, all the linebackers they had this year, and him coming back from a COVID season, I think there was just a lot going on. I think you bring him back to his all-pro level play. And then another linebacker is Bobby Wagner. A lot of trade rumors. I think that's a guy you can pick up for him. And Hassan Reddick. Imagine this defense with adding Hassan Reddick. There's a lot of free agents this year that you can plug in on the Steelers team, and it won't be a miss. Here's what the Steelers should do in the draft. They have the 20th pick and a couple other picks in the draft. But if you don't go quarterback, this is bad quarterback draft this year. You got Kenny Pickett, obviously, would be the obvious choice for me, I think. But if you don't go quarterback at 20 because you get Deshaun Watson or you're sold on Jimmy Garoppolo, go offensive line. I think Trevor Penning from Northern Iowa is a good, smart move. Or maybe you go defensive line. Jordan Davis from Georgia or any of the Georgia linemen, D-linemen or linebackers, Nakobe Dean. Your linebacker position is thin. If you can get him, he will have that Micah Parsons effect on your defense at a rookie year. I think he is that good. He won't probably get 10 sacks, but I think he will get 100 tackles, be one of the best linebackers in the NFL already in this rookie year. I think that's a smart. The Pittsburgh Steelers can get in later rounds is Kobe Bryant. I mentioned him on a couple other teams. I think anybody who gets him is getting a steal, one of the best corners in the draft. If he falls to you, got to pick him up, and that would help the Steelers' cornerback room get that much better and that much deeper. Saylor from the Georgia offensive guard, I think a lot of their run success and a lot of Stetson Bennett getting that much time was due to him and that other offensive line, but he was one of their key pieces. I think Brandon Smith from Penn State, Your linebacker position, Joe Shorbert is probably going to head elsewhere because he's a huge cap hit. And then Devin Bush, like I mentioned, you need to cut him. So bring him in, Dante Howard, Anthony Barr, one of those guys, Nakobe Dean possibly. That is going to make your linebacker room that much better, I think. And if Falele falls in the second round, I think if you're in that area, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers should pick him up. And that's all the gems I have for you. If the Pittsburgh Steelers follow this blueprint, no matter what, they draft well, free agency, I think they need to take some chances. They'll be back in the playoffs year after year. Hopefully we'll see a good quarterback, either if it's Jimmy Garoppolo, Deshaun Watson, Kenny Pickett. And Malik Willis is another guy I forgot to mention. I would love to see him in black and gold. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers will be fine, but hopefully they follow my blueprint. As always, peace.